Alright, so I have for you yet another Fallout 76 build guide video. In this one, I'm going to be covering the Junkies effect and going over some of the best perk cards to utilize with the Junkies build. I figured this would help out the community because I was getting a lot of recommendations about another build that I could go over that includes high health. As some of you may know, I did make a guide over how to make a proper Bloodied build, and I've made a guide over how to make a proper Power Armor Heavy build. Which, by the way, in case you're curious about those, I'll have links in the description to those guides. In this one, though, I'm going to be covering the Junkies effect because you utilize high health with this build. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into this, guys. If you find this enjoyable, by the way, consider taking a little bit of your time and leaving a like. The support is greatly appreciated, and it helps get the video more passed around the Fallout community. Anyways, I guess I'll go ahead and start off with the perk cards that I'm utilizing with this build. Okay, so I'm on the Nukes and Dragons website, which this is a website that you can use to plan your Fallout 76 character build better. I figured I would show my build this way, just for one, to bring more awareness to this website because it's extremely handy, and I can switch up perk cards really easily to show you what else you can do instead of this exact build that I'm using here. So as you can see, I got 3 strength, 15 into perception, 5 into endurance, 6 into the charisma category, 5 into intelligence, 12 into the agility category, and lastly 10 into luck. And here are the perk cards that I'm rocking. At level 3 strength, I'm using a maxed out blocker. In case you don't know what this does, when it's maxed out, you'll take 45% less damage from your opponent's melee attacks. And most enemies are generally using melee attacks, such as one prime example, ghouls, and heck, even the Scorchbeast Queen as well. Definitely a very solid perk card to be using to make yourself more tanky. And overall, that's what you want with a Junkies build. You want to try to be as tanky as possible, because that's the difference between Bloodied and Junkie. Sure, you're not doing as much damage, but you're able to tank way more than a Bloodied build. If you're not a big fan of having low health, this build is definitely for you. But anyways, in my perception category, I have this maxed at 15. I have all the commando perk cards, which you can switch this up if you're not using a fully automatic rifle. I also have 1 in concentrated fire, just so I can target limbs with VATS and get some nice criticals on enemies. I also got tank killer. This makes it so your rifle ignores 36% of the armor and you have a 9% chance to stagger. Definitely a beneficial perk to be utilizing if you are a rifle build. And lastly, I'm using ground pounder, which this is just a phenomenal perk card to be having. As you can see, what this does is, if you have it maxed out, it makes it so automatic rifles reload 30% faster and you have excellent hipfire accuracy. However, I just have this at rank 2 just because I have the speed demon mutation, and that already increases my reload speed. But having that hipfire accuracy can be beneficial in the heat of the battle. So yeah, that's my perception category. And in the endurance category, I got Chem Fiend and Rejuvenated. I got a total of 5 points invested into endurance. In case you don't know what Rejuvenated does, as you can see here on the wiki, it states here at rank 1 with this perk card, the bonus will total at plus 37% hit points and action points, respectively, and plus 30% disease resistance, respectively. At rank 2, the bonus will total at plus 50% hit points and action points, respectively, and plus 35% disease resistance, once again, respectively. So yeah, it's a pretty solid perk card to have overall to make yourself a little bit more tanky and to make it so you have more action points to work with. But yeah, also I have Chem Fiend, which this is a must if you're rocking a Junkies build. This will make it so any chems you will take will last 100% longer. I originally had Chem Resistant, but then I decided not to use this. As you can see, you're half as likely to get addicted when consuming chems, and when you have this fully maxed out, you gain complete immunity to chem addictions. And I did originally like to pop this on after I had my addictions just to make sure I don't get any others, but with Chem Fiend, your chems are lasting 100% longer, so more than likely you're not going to be getting addicted to anything else. Keep in mind, only 5 addictions work toward your Junkies build, which accumulates to an extra 50% damage. You get 10% extra damage per addiction. I'll get more into that later in this video. But another thing that I suggest checking out if you want to do a little bit of perk card swapping is checking out Ironclad or Life Giver. If you have a max of Life Giver, which takes 4 perk points total, you'll gain a total of plus 45 to your maximum health. It's not too bad of a perk card, but I honestly prefer Rejuvenated over Life Giver, just because it works with action points as well. Another one that's pretty solid to use, but you are going to have to increase your points into endurance, is a level 5 Ironclad. You'll gain 50 damage and energy resistance while not wearing power armor. And this is not a power armor build. Don't get me wrong, there are solid junkie power armor builds out there, but this one, I'm not going to be utilizing power armor whatsoever. So this is another one that I would suggest looking into. But overall, my best lineup, in my opinion, is having Rejuvenated on at max and Chem Fiend. It's pretty balanced. But anyways, up in Charisma, I have Field Surgeon. I feel this is a must for Junkies build, in my opinion, of course. You know, some people may not find this as beneficial, but as you see, what this does is Stim Packs and Radaway will now work much more quickly, and that is true. Dude, you get your health back and get rid of radiation so fast. This is definitely a beneficial perk card if you are trying to stay full health. It's especially handy if you're going up against an Imposter Sheep Squatch and becoming Conduit. You'll be able to stay full health without having to worry about dying while being Conduit. I know some of you know what I'm talking about with the Imposter Sheep Squatch event. Anyways, next up here I got Strange in Numbers. This makes it so positive mutation effects are 25% stronger if teammates are mutated too. So this I also feel is a must to be having on, just because it makes your mutations 25% stronger. Anyways, lastly up here I have Tenderizer. This makes it so your target will receive 7% more damage for 10 seconds after you attack it. It can give you a little bit of bonus damage attacking your enemies. However, another perk card that I would suggest in the Charisma category is Suppressor. This reduces your target's damage output by 30% for 2 seconds after you attack. This just makes it so you're more beefier in a fight, which I feel once again is the overall goal when you are using a Junkies build. You want to be as tanky as possible, because once again, that's the difference between Bloodied. Bloodied, you're having that high risk, high reward factor. You have a high risk of dying, but you have a high reward of doing some insane damage. Junkies, you get lower damage, but surviving is much more easier. You don't have to worry as much about your health. And the damage isn't that big of a difference. Personally, I have grown more attached to Junkies than Bloodied. I've just been playing with Bloodied since the beginning of the game, and I just got burnt out with that build. And now since I've switched up to Junkies, I am loving it much more than I was with Bloodied. Honestly, if you're into the PvP aspect of Fallout 76, Junkies is better in Bloodied in most scenarios. But anyways, next up here in Intelligence, I just have simply 5 into Demolition Expert to gain plus 60% damage with my explosive weapons. Now, if you don't have an explosive Junkies weapon, obviously you don't want to invest 5 points into Demolition Expert. That's going to be a complete waste. Something else to substitute within the Intelligence category would be level 3 First Aid, believe it or not. This will make it so all of your Stim Packs basically act as super Stim Packs. As you can see, Stim Packs restore 45% more lost health. However, if you see yourself having tons of supers and not a lot of regular stims, then you don't want to really invest into this. However, if you have a lot of regular stims and not as many supers, or you just don't have the carry weight for a lot of supers, but you have the carry weight for stims, then this would be beneficial for you. First Aid combined with Field Surgeon plus Born Survivor is a pretty solid combination to make sure you stay at full health. Which, speaking of Born Survivor, this is in the next category that I'm going to be going over. As you can see, I got 12 perk points invested into Agility, and one of the perk cards that I'm utilizing is Born Survivor. I have it at rank 2 just because I feel like that's high enough. As you can see, rank 2, it makes it so falling below 30% health, this perk card will make it so I will automatically use a Stim Pack once every 20 seconds. This will make it so your health will pretty much stay full. You don't have to really worry about it as much. It's definitely beneficial, I'm telling you all. This has saved my butt so many different times, especially during the Imposter Sheep Squatch event. Anyways, as some of you may know, the Adrenaline perk card is broken at the moment. Let me go ahead and show you that perk card in case some of you don't know about it. As you can see here, in case you don't know what Adrenaline does, you gain plus 10% for each kill that you get, and you can have a max of 60%. It's pretty insane. So something else to use besides Adrenaline for now. Don't get me wrong, when that perk is officially working back in the game, definitely use Adrenaline with this build. Definitely. Adrenaline is a must with this build. But for now, since we can't really utilize Adrenaline that much because at the moment it is broken in the game since patch 20, I have a feeling Bethesda will fix this pretty soon since this is a very important perk card that a lot of people use because it's extremely good. But yeah, instead of not using Adrenaline, some other perk cards to go with for now, once again, for now. Definitely be sure to invest into Adrenaline once it is working again. But for now, I suggest investing into a max of Mr. Sandman and Escape Artist, so that's 3 perk points right there. And I also suggest to invest into another point into Action Boy or Girl, so that's 4 perk points right there. And maybe throw in a Sneak perk point too. Keep in mind this is only temporary just because Adrenaline is not working at the moment. Usually this isn't as much of a sneaky build, but I do like to have Covert Operative because, you know, landing those sneak attacks definitely help out. So yeah, this is the perk lineup that I suggest going with if Adrenaline is still not working. But if Adrenaline is working, just tone down Action Boy / Girl a little bit, get rid of Mr. Sandman, get rid of Escape Artist, and get rid of Sneak. And then add in Adrenaline. Bam. Because you want to have Adrenaline max for sure. Covert Operative isn't really a must, but I like using it just because I do land a lot of sneak attacks when farming specific areas. I love to have this on because that's how you're getting ranged sneak attacks. So this is always beneficial to have. Also, having the level 2 Action Boy or Girl is just beneficial to gain your action points back faster to land some solid VATS hits. And as long as you got some pieces with some action point refresh speed, that makes up for the other point that you're not using to max out the Action Boy or Girl. Honestly, if you have all your armor pieces with action point refresh speed, you don't even need the Action Boy or Girl perk card in general, because your action points will be regaining extremely fast already because of each of your armor pieces, which I'll be getting into armor that you should utilize with this build further in the video. So stay tuned for that information if you're curious. Anyways, moving forward from the agility category, I have 10 perk points invested into the love category. As you can see, I'm rocking starch jeans. This will make it so we will never mutate from rads, and Radaway will never cure mutations. So once you have the set mutations that you want, this is when you want to pop on this perk card. Or if you're just not wanting to be mutated whatsoever. I know there are some players out there that prefer to play like that. And I asked why, and they told me it makes it feel more immersive playing without mutations. But heck, I cannot play without mutation. It does not feel the same whatsoever without that marsupial mutation to jump high. Also, I like to use Speed Demon and other mutations that are highly beneficial for my build, which I'll be going over my mutation setup later in this video, so stay tuned for that information if you are curious. I'm bundling a lot of info in this one video. Anyways, moving on, I have 3 into better criticals. This will make it so I'll do plus 40% more VATS critical damage, which is quite a bit of extra damage right there. And I also have 3 into Bloody Mess. This just makes it so you deal even more damage. As you see, you get 15% bonus damage, except now your enemies may explode sometime in a gory red paste. And lastly, I got 2 into Ricochet. This will make it so we will gain a 12% chance to deflect back some of the enemy's ranged damage. I just decided to invest 2 into this because this will make us more tanky, especially running through a silo to launch a nuke, or going up against the imposter sheep squatch doing the encrypted event, or heck, even simply just farming some super mutants. Once again, this will make it so I will have a 12% chance to deflect back some of my enemy's ranged damage. But yeah, there you guys have it. That is a guide to the perk cards. Hopefully this sends you in the right direction over what cards you're wanting. I know it can be a pain to level up and get the right perk cards. So yeah, hopefully that helped you save some time. Okay, next up here, let's go ahead and get into what I suggest to wear as a backpack. This is a very important tip because if you don't have this backpack on, more than likely you're going to be having to use Traveling Pharmacy in the strength category, so you won't be able to use blocker. As you can see, here's what Traveling Pharmacy does. Weights of all chems, including stim packs, are reduced by 90%. Now this helps out a lot as a Junkies build because you're carrying a lot of stems and a lot of different chems to up your damage. That's the reason why we went with the Chem Fiend perk card in the endurance category, because we utilize chems a lot as a Junkies build. I mean, I don't have a lot of stems on me at the moment. I have 94 super stems, but typically as a Junkies build, you're going to be loaded with super stems and Radaway, just because you're rocking that full health build. And something that I highly suggest to get is the Chemist backpack mod from the Raiders, which you can get this from Mortimer for 350 gold bullion once you have reached the neighborly reputation with the Raiders. So yeah, once you have officially reached that reputation, you can now officially get the Chemist backpack mod for, once again, 350 gold bullion, and then once you purchase it and learn the plan, you'll be able to officially modify the Chemist's backpack mod onto your backpack, which is highly beneficial if you're rocking a Junkies build. As you can see, the Chemist's backpack mod reduces all chem weight by 90%. However, it does not stack with perks, so Traveling Pharmacy won't combine with this. But this is like us having Traveling Pharmacy on. So it's a win-win here. And that'll make it so you can actually use something in the strength category here, because it is pretty low. And instead of using traveling pharmacy, you'll be able to use like blocker or something. But yeah, speaking of reducing weight of chems, now let's go ahead and get into the addictions that I suggest with this Junkies build. This is extremely important for Junkies build because that's how you're dealing extra damage. Each addiction counts for 10%, and you can have a max of 50% extra damage. So basically 5 addictions is what works with the Junkies build. However, I messed up here with my addictions. I didn't want to get the Psycho addiction, nor did I want to get the Med-X addiction, but I got them. And I kept them just to give you all an example. The reason why I don't want the Med-X addiction nor the Psycho addiction is because it lowers my damage resistance. Yeah, sure, losing 20 damage resistance isn't all that bad. However, personally to me, I want as high damage resistance as possible just so I can be as tanky as possible. So the addictions that I would suggest to y'all, which by the way, how you get rid of your addictions, you have to use an addictal. As you can see, I got 2 of them. This will cure all addictions, except it will increase your thirst and it will increase your hunger. So let's go ahead and use this and reset my addictions. Bang. So yeah, I have no addictions now whatsoever. Now the addictions that I want, which by the way, how you get addicted to things is basically just taking like 5 or 10 in a row. But yeah, first off, I want to get addicted to Formula P. The reason why is because this only affects okay, it didn't show up yet. I guess I gotta wait for it to run out there for it to officially show up that I've been addicted. But this only affects, I believe, charisma and luck, which in my opinion isn't that big of a deal to me. I don't care to take the negatives toward my charisma and luck. Another thing that I want to become addicted to is Day Tripper. This will also just affect my charisma, which isn't that bad to me. As you can see, my Formula P addiction just now popped up. It gives me -2 charisma and -2 luck, which by the way, in case you don't know how to craft Formula P, you get this from the Project Paradise event, which that event pops up right here on the map. You have to go in here, and sometimes you will be rewarded the Formula P plan, and that's how you craft Formula P. You may know somebody though that already has the Formula P plan, and they can craft you Formula P to get addicted to if you are wanting this addiction. It's a pretty common reward from the Project Paradise event. Anyway, so far I've been addicted to Formula P and Day Tripper. Next up here, I want to get addicted to Daddy-O. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Bang. I have now become addicted to Daddy-O. As you can see, the Day Tripper addiction just once again affected my charisma and luck. Not a big deal to me. It's what I'm mainly looking for. I want to keep my damage resistance as high as possible. I heard there is some kind of cap to damage resistance, but I don't know if that's confirmed or not. So that's the reason why I want to be having as much damage resistance as I can and energy resistance, just to be as tanky as possible. Having energy resistance is most important for PvP fights, because most people that are doing PvP are using like Teslas and laser explosive weapons. So yeah, having high energy resistance is definitely beneficial if you are thinking about PvPing in Fallout 76. Anyways, next addiction that I want, so far I got 3. I need 2 more. Next one that I want is Mentats. Bang. I have now became addicted to all Mentats. And the last addiction that I'm wanting to get the max amount of extra damage that I can get with the Junkies build is alcohol. That's going to affect my charisma and agility. Now, some people do get addicted to buff out instead, but I'm not really wanting to have any type of negative to my strength. And that's what happens when you get addicted to buff out. You get -1 strength and -1 endurance. The reason why I don't want anything affecting my strength is because I already have super low strength at level 3. So that makes it so I don't really have that high of carry weight. Honestly, the only reason why I have high carry rate is because I deep pocketed all of my armor pieces, which, you know, grants me more carry weight, of course. And getting addicted to alcohol is really simple. You're just going to have to drink some alcoholic beverages. So go ahead and drink this beer, drink this bourbon, drink this cranberry moonshine. Alright, finally. I become addicted to alcohol now. Woo! I didn't know I'd get excited about that. It's kind of weird. Alrighty, so now since I have the 5 addictions, which are alcohol, Daddy-O, Day Tripper, Formula P, and Mentats, which by the way, you can switch it up if you want, but just keep in mind you're only going to get a max of 50% extra damage. Your 6th addiction won't count toward your damage. It'll just be something negatively impacting you. Nothing more than that. So make sure you don't get that many addictions. Stick with 5. Each addiction counts for 10% once again. So yeah, that's the addictions. Now I want to go over the mutations that I'm using with this build. And then after this, I'm going to be going over the armor, and then I'll be showing you the damage that I can deal out. I want to go into full detail within this video for you guys, so you guys know everything you really need to know about a Junkies build. So yeah, I'm rocking Empath, Herbivore, Marsupial, Scaly Skin, and Speed Demon. Also, another one that I recommend getting is Herd Mentality, a serum on me for that, as you can see. You want to try to get this mutation as well, because this gets rid of some of the negative impact that you're getting from the addictions, as you can see. What this does is when your teammates are nearby, all your special stats are increased. However, when your teammates are not nearby, all specials are reduced. But more than likely, you're going to be playing around your team, especially if you're doing like the Scorch Beast Queen or the Imposter Sheep Squatch event. But yeah, overall, this is a pretty solid lineup for mutations, so keep them in mind. Now, let's go ahead and get into my armor that I'm using. Now this is very important to know. As some of you know, you have to use the unyielding armor for a bloody build. Like that's how you really get the full effect out of using a bloody build. You got to have that unyielding armor. Now for Junkies, the go-to in my opinion is the Vanguard's Sentinel set. Now keep in mind, pulling a Vanguard's piece with the Sentinel effect is going to be pretty difficult. I suggest trying to, look around for other players that may have a piece or heck, even a set of this to trade with you. And if you can't find a Vanguard Sentinel piece, which is completely understandable because those pieces are pretty rare, try looking out for pieces that have instead Vanguards with action point refresh speed at least. And heck, if you can't find anything, just look for Vanguards in general. Because with this build, you're supposed to be having full health. And in case you don't know, Vanguards is more beneficial the higher your health is. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You don't technically have to have that Sentinel effect. That is more of a rare one to get your hands on. But try being on the lookout for Vanguard's armor when you're rocking this Junkies build. So yeah, this is what I'm rocking. And I have 25% environmental disease resistance on this piece, which is not what you want. Personally, what you really want to get is a piece with increased action point refresh speed. If you're able to get all pieces that have increased action point refresh speed, you can forget the Action Boy or Action Girl perk card. You don't need that whatsoever because you're going to be regenerating action points extremely fast. So yeah, as you can see, once again, it has the Sentinel effect, which is 75% chance to reduce damage by 15% while standing still. So if you have a full set of this can add up to 75% of reduced damage while standing still. It definitely adds up. Now this doesn't work while you're sneaking. The key word there is standing. You're going to have to be standing for this effect to work, but you are extremely tanky with this on. And also it grants up to plus 35 energy resistance and damage resistance the higher your health. So from this full set, I have a whopping 440 ballistic damage resistance and 480 energy resistance and 15 radiation resistance. Now keep in mind, I am also rocking the shielded Secret Service Under Armor, which grants me 15 ballistic damage resistance, 15 energy resistance, and 15 radiation resistance. It also benefits me with 4 strength, 2 perception, and 4 endurance, which this is just an incredible Under Armor that you can get from regs. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out some damage here. Going up against a glowing level 95 behemoth. Wow. That only took like 5 shots. Could have been less. I may have overdid it there. But yeah. Not using any buffs whatsoever either. As you can see. This is the damage that I have currently. Let me go in first person. A little easier to see like this. I got 182. Oh, come on. I got 182 damage, and I'm using a Junkies Explosive Automatic Handmade. So the effects on it is bullets explode for area damage, and damage increases when suffering from addictions, which is the Junkies effect. That's the reason why we got those addictions, so we can have higher damage. And remember, the max amount that you can get is 50% extra damage from the addictions. So only 5 addictions work toward the damage. Anyways, also for the mods I got on this handmade is a powerful automatic receiver, aligned long barrel, stabilized stock, stinging magazine, reflex dot sight, a suppressor to get the sneak attacks, and lastly I got the screaming eagle paint skin. I think it looks pretty solid. This is a limited time skin that was in the atomic shop just a little bit ago actually. And in case you're wondering how was I doing 277 damage in my previous footage that I was showing you in the beginning of this, that is because it's an older clip when the adrenaline perk card was officially working. At the moment, once again, it's sadly not working, so we're not able to deal out 60% extra damage. And that's what you're seeing here. That's a lot of damage we're missing out on. I'll keep you guys posted, by the way, when the adrenaline perk card is officially working in the description as well as in a pinned comment within the comments section. So that's how I'll keep you all updated when it is officially working again in the game. I highly recommend it once it does start working again. Okay, so this time around I'm going to be playing how junkie builds typically play, which is typically by using different chems and different things such as bobbleheads and magazines as buffs, because that's how you get the full effect out of the Junkies build. And while we invested into Chem Fiend, so it'll last way longer. But yeah, let's see how much it takes this time while having different buffs against the behemoth. This is how Junkie builds are typically played with using chems. Okay, there is 2 shots. Oh wow. No way. I guess I didn't get as many criticals as I did last time, or as many sneak attacks or something. I don't know. There has to be a reason over that, because my criticals should be doing way more damage now. I guess I am only doing 8 more damage. Now that I think about it, a lot of the buffs I have are increasing my critical damage, so yeah, that had to have been it. Or I just, once again, didn't land as many sneak attacks or something. But anyways, moving on, let's go ahead and go to another area to show off a bit more gameplay. Let's head on over to, I guess the Capitol building. Loads of enemies in here. 1 shot. Ooh, 2 shot on the legendary. Didn't mean for that to happen. Oh, son of a biscuit. 1 shot. Too close for comfort. Okay, you get the point. This build can annihilate enemies. It's possible. Look at all those stems I got to use as well. So nice. I don't know why I used another one. I was already going to go to full health. And it just feels good just running around with full health. That's one thing I really like about this build. Because I played without full health for since basically the beginning of the game. It feels good to actually switch it up. And this build is just as solid in my opinion. I mean, you guys are seeing it for yourself here firsthand. It's just annihilating enemies. That time I didn't kill him 1 shot. What the heck? That was a little stronger. Or I just didn't. I don't know. Let's see. There we go. Much better. Oh, I hit its limb. It's alright. I hit its arm. That's why. Not the head. But yeah, really fun to play with. And once again, I'm doing 190 damage with this. Now let me go ahead and switch to my Junkies explosive fixer. As you can see, here's the effects that I have on this fixer. Bullets explode for area damage, plus 50 damage resistance while aiming, and damage increases when suffering from addictions. And, as always, fixers come with improved stealth and faster sneaking movement speed. This is my favorite kind of weapon in the game. I love being able to get a sneak attack with VATS consistently, and this helps so much with that, with the improved stealth that you can get on this. And speaking of the fixer, you can only get this as a legendary from the purveyor by turning in script. You just got to get lucky enough to get the right rolls on it. Quad fixer! We just got a fixer. I got 1 more, or 2 more. Let's see. Furious Assaultron head. And... ooh! Another fixer! Another fixer! That was the final one, too. I got 2 fixers out of 5,000 script. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, that right there was true. I only got 2 fixers out of 5,000 script that I spent during a live stream over on my Twitch. But my luck could be completely different than yours. You could get more fixers than how many I got. I saved up on all 5 of my characters just for this purveyor sale, just to see how many fixers I would get. And yeah, once again, 2 out of 5,000. And most importantly, you got to know this. Make sure you know the fixer plan before you spend script at the purveyor if you are wanting a legendary fixer, because that's the only way you're going to get a legendary fixer from the purveyor. You have to learn the fixer plan first, which you get that from completing the Imposter Sheep Squatch event, also known as Encrypted. Alright, let's try it out against some super muties. So, yeah, one shot. Accidentally shot twice there. That wasn't a sneak attack, but still. Taking them out pretty quickly here, and also getting some rank experience. I mean, ooh, that was 1,000 right there. Got a critical on him. This being explosive makes it just a wee bit more difficult remaining stealthy. Maybe I'll switch up the explosive one that I'm using. That's some nice damage right there though. This one is my Junkies faster fire rate +1 perception fixer. Doing 149 each shot, but that doesn't matter. Sneak makes up for that. Sheesh. That was a heavy hitter right there. Only got a few more shots with this fixer. I do have it primed. I got more ammo in my stash, but prime just makes it so I'm dealing out more damage against scorched enemies. You know what? Screw it. Banger. Yeah, so check it out. This is basically like a 5-star in a sense. You know, it has 5 effects on it. Improved stealth, faster sneaking movement speed. That comes with all fixers. Superior damage, bonus damage to Scorched Beast and Scorched. Damage increases when suffering from addictions. The Junkies effect. 25% faster fire rate and +1 perception. It's 5 effects on this. Man, I love fixers. Personally, my favorite gun in the game. I wish there was a skin for the fixer. But yeah, overall, to wrap up this video about the Junkies build, it's a solid one to go with. This is going to be my primary build for a little while until I get bored of this now. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bored of just running around with Bloodied, so I decided to switch over to Junkies. Which, speaking of Bloodied, if you're wanting to know about how to make that build, I'll have a link down below in the description to my build videos that I've went over so far. Feel free to check them out if you're looking for other ideas for what you may want to go with. Also, one more thing to add that I think some of you may appreciate about the Junkies build, it's extremely beneficial to be utilizing this build while running conduits. It's because you can now be officially full health. You don't have to be super low. And as we know, if you are becoming a conduit during this event, you lose health extremely fast. But as you can see with this footage here, I was able to keep my health stacked and take out the Imposter Sheep Squatch with ease. And I was running 2 conduits at the same time with this. But yeah, hopefully you found this enjoyable, everyone, and it helps you out in some kind of way. I made this highly detailed on purpose because I wanted to try to help as many players as I could. So if you found this enjoyable, consider taking a little bit of your time and leaving a like so this can get more passed around the Fallout community so more players can learn about these tips. It feels good helping players out. And heck, if you know any other pointers that you may add within this build, feel free to jot it down below in the comments. The more information, the better. I was just trying to get this video to be as informational as possible for players. And keep in mind, as always though, that is totally up to you if you want to take the time to leave a like or not. I'm just leaving a friendly reminder here at the end. But yeah, I'm out of here. Thanks for taking the time, watching and listening. Until next time, remember to try to stay safe out there. Peace.